Hi.
Hi. Wait, I thought I was preparing one of my bing 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 from the basement studios of Zigabigadu. It's Thought Spiral. With your host, J. Elvis.
Wow.
Oh, God. I think you should keep that in there.
You think?
No. I don't know. At this point. What you already had, hi. You started it with hi. That was good.
It was another way to go.
Yeah. It was easy.
Yeah,
and also we were in.
That's right.
All right. Well, I'm recording tonight and you're recording.
All right. Yeah. We got redundancy going tonight because we had it. I guess it's the worst catastrophe we've had by a long shot, really.
Yes, because the last time we lost the show, it didn't have someone. Was it just us?
It was just us, of course.
And at that point, you could even argue to get us to come back to record something is not as hard as getting this guest that we wanted.
Yeah, we kind of had a guest last night.
Now you're going to not say who it was, or say what did we decide?
I guess we can say who it was.
It's Dave Foley, everybody.
It was Kid in the Hall, Dave Foley. He was here.
He was here.
Where Andy's sitting right now.
This was what the show that you're hearing right now was the show that you wouldn't be hearing. You wouldn't be hearing this because you'd be hearing Dave Foley,
right?
And he was on. That's the thing, too.
And the problem was it was just such a terrible show that we decided, no, okay, we had a technical problem.
We had a technical glitch. It didn't record, and we're not exactly sure why it didn't record.
I still say it's recorded. It didn't save. That's my...
Oh, I see. So you're saying it didn't save...
Because it was recording the whole time. I was very alert to that.
So the red light's like what light is lit up now?
That's the record button right there. That's the record light right there.
And then where are the?
These are the two indicating the two mic channels that are live.
Oh well, I saw 4 lights last night.
Right, there were 3 mic channels and a record light,
and they were all on.
Yes, exactly. See?
Well, that makes me.
I'm just saying that. Yes, it was human error, but we don't know where.
We don't know where.
It wasn't obvious human error.
Well, I knew that some of your podcasters, I think Mark Maron lost one, so he does a redundancy thing. I don't know, but I have my own Sony, which is excellent. Of course, I left it up. That's not a good idea. But this is a backup now.
Yeah, so if you ever hear a show that sounds like one of Andy's sets to the break, that you know what happened.
But we were both very sad about it because I was sad about it because... I felt bad. You just feel bad. You just feel bad when you do it, and it's good.
Right.
And then I started to focus on how am I going to tell Dave Foley. Now, so far, we've resolved that by, I'm not going to tell Dave Foley yet, which is the kind of way I've led my whole life before therapy.
Well, this is the part that I feel okay about. I feel the only response that it'll get from Dave Foley is laughter.
Okay.
When he hears about it.
Yes.
And I think that'll be the end of it.
Right.
I think he will laugh derisively. I think he's enough of a nihilist to say, well, good. So it's not like he was excited to be on our show. It wasn't like an aspirational thing. We were on his show the day before.
Did we explain that?
Which they saved, and you'll be able to hear when it comes out.
Yeah, you'll be able to hear all of us on one format.
Yes. So you can hear Dave Foley and us together. Don't get us wrong.
Well, here's the other problem. The other problem is that this is a shoe. And by the way,
I hate opening a show with like, here's what our show isn't tonight.
Oh, you do?
It's a little sad.
Okay, well, but you know what? How about this? But you know what's even better? I came up with I prepared so hard for the show today.
Did you? You went extra hard just to make up for mine?
No, I really didn't. But I did remember to bring a book in case I did have an idea.
You brought a book.
No, I don't think you should feel. But I was going to say one thing was I don't forget. I forgot.
You know what? I'm okay now. Last night I was very upset. I hate fucking up more than I hate physical pain.
You do. I wonder why that is.
I don't know, but it's a real like. Boy, I hate it.
Okay, so now if we go back to our classic childhoods, well, mine wasn't classic. Mine was. I can't talk about it. But was that a message that you got sent from your parents? You fucked it up?
No, it was all self-generated as far as I can tell. It was my self-critical thing was always, because I was very, very supported, and my parents were never twist the knife people. And
they never said it was, great. See, this is my family. Oh, who screwed it up? And then we find out who screwed it up, and then all we care about is who screwed it up.
Right. No.
Well, how does that help?
That's not the root of this. So
I wonder what the root of it is then. Well, it's not fun to fuck
but
up.
it's a lifelong affliction.
Yes. Well, maybe I say it's easy for me to say it because if I had been in charge and it hadn't recorded, I would probably be sobbing right now. But we know that I have bad.
Allison actually commended me on how well I handled it today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she did.
Did she hear what was going on?
Well, I told her.
Oh, okay.
After the thing.
How did she think I handled it?
She didn't care.
Oh.
It didn't come up. So yeah. So I don't know. No, it makes me very unhappy when I fuck up. Because then it opens myself up for pity, which I hate.
Oh, pity, right, yeah. You self-pity, you mean.
Pep talks, which I can't deal with.
Well, you like last night,
encouragement, I'm not happy with. So I think that might be part of the reason why I don't like it. Well, I mean, I'm glad I surround myself with the kind of people who are prone to those sorts of things.
What do you mean, like me? Are you saying I'm a fuck-up?
No.
Oh.
No, you were the pitier and pep talker.
Oh. Well, it was very funny last night when I stood behind you because we were trying to figure out, and I was looking at the screen to see, and instead of petting my doggy, or your doggy, and then you said, "Can you please not stand?"
Yeah, you were looming over my shoulder.
I know, that's worse.
At a ticking time bomb moment, and it was amplifying the ticking sound for me.
Well, there are 4 or 5 technical things that I know that, but they're not technical things anybody else doesn't know.
Okay.
So I thought maybe we'd be like, did you put the cantilever on 4? But here's the thing.
What's the thing?
It's not about that show or losing the show. It's about getting here together on a different night. This is exciting.
I do feel good that we didn't do like a straight interview with him. Because that would have felt more awkward to lose. It was just, because we all had a nice conversation.
Right.
So it's like no one lost anything from it, really. It's
he did give us some
Our audience lost.
Our audience lost.
But we still had a nice time. I think he had a nice time.
Yes, he did. And he really enjoyed himself. Because I had given him see, what happened was we came up with this idea. Dave Foley and Paul Greenberg's podcast is called Don't Say. So what happens is that they have surprise guest drop-in. Have I explained this already?
No.
So surprise guest drop-in. And so then we figured we'd have a surprise, have them come back to our show, but Paul couldn't make it. But then we were like, oh, well, we'd love to have Dave. And then I gave a chance. Once I went on their show, I gave Dave a chance to back out because, just because he's Dave Foley or he's any person who's,
sure.
I would give anyone.
You do the same to any kid in the hall.
Any kid in the hall or anybody who agrees to be on our show. I would tell Jen Kirkman if she got ill of course, if she got ill.
No.
But, but then I was told he's excited about coming over. And he also got here earlier than me. It's unbelievable.
He did, yeah.
It is just incredible the way that you people run your lives like regular, normal people.
So what's the takeaways I would say from the interview would be my big questions about kids in the hall were like, what were their hard, fast rules?
Right.
And he said no satire because they loved SCTV. And they had to have endings to each of their sketches in deference to the fact that Monty Python never did have endings to their sketches. So they wanted to steer clear of their sort of hero.
Wow. Yes, which I did. Of course, I'm so.
You weren't listening, so this is new for you.
No, I know. I heard it, but I'm so. Again, the things I claim I'm interested in. Although now that I would say it, I've only heard as much Monty Python as any consumer my age would have heard. I never went out of my way to love them, even though I love them.
What do you mean, any consumer your age? It's like right in your.
Yeah, they came out.
Zing zang.
No, they came out on Channel 13. They came out on like Channel 13. WMYC.
Yeah.
They had a show that came to America,
right?
And that I got on PBS, I think.
Yes.
And that was my first introduction to them.
Right, everyone's.
And I'd seen the live. Yeah, but I think I was it was yes, happening in.
Sure, they came to your house first. But
no, you were too young.
No, but I watched it on PBS in the 70s, like when babysitters would come over and watch it.
Oh, is that when it came on? It did come. It wasn't in the 60s then.
No, it was in the 70s.
Because they okay. Now I agree with you. I know I was arguing with you before. So I never realized they didn't have endings because I never have watched I've never watched. Did they have a weekly show?
Yes.
And they put all the sketches together.
It was a series. we call it.
Yeah. But you've watched most of that series, right?
Yeah, I've watched probably all of it.
Well, what do I say about myself? I'd like to say that I'm not that I should know more about comedy before me, but then the other part of me says it's like, everybody has a different life. I spent 10 years listening to Tumbleweed Connection, and I feel like I should know more about the comedy that came before me.
Well, fuck it.
That's true.
50 years ago, Monty Python.
Well, there was a guy named Harold Bloom. He just died.
Yeah.
And he was a literary critic.
Yeah.
But he had some very controversial views, which were like, nobody mattered but Shakespeare, and he hated all this movement of, let's look at people who you didn't hear about because of the patriarchal societies or because of slavery or,
right.
So my thing is that he's saying, like, you got to know it all, and there's certain classics, and I don't know the classics. So he's saying Chaucer and Shakespeare and all this other stuff is nonsense. So that you have to have this background in the classics.
The canon.
In the canon.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's something to be said about some of that, but then the other part...
I think that's absolutely true, perhaps. Well, I can't say it's absolutely true. I'd say it's much more true if, for example, you were in academia.
Yes, right, which is what he was.
Right.
But he was saying that what he was claiming was that all of the we aren't literary anymore because we're not studying Shakespeare, but he was also rejecting all these black writers and all these other people.
Right.
So I'm not trying to cause more trouble with him, but I'm trying to reconcile the part of me that still says
I think because it's so easily accessible on Netflix, that, becoming more conversant in Monty Python is definitely part of a well-rounded comedy education.
True.
But is that, you know way more about what's happening in 2019 than I do.
Than Monty Python does. Oh, sorry. Yeah. You think so?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh.
So, so you're going to lose. I'm going to lose. You're going to lose stuff. Not just you, but anyone is,
Well, also, I'd like
it'll tie into my feelings about the David Crosby movie, which we can talk to about later.
Yes. Okay. Don't forget to talk about it because I will.
No, I'll remember.
David Crosby movie.
Yeah.
Let's put that down. So anyway, we were coming out of this. Is a
so I just want to do more of my last, so I can get it,
get it out.
So we can get it out. More fun Dave Foley facts. He loves Lorne Michaels because Lorne Michaels gave him his career, he feels, and Lorne Michaels was prescient enough rather than steal cast members from Kids in the
Which was
Hall.
his normal thing beforehand.
Yeah, he would have harvested talent from there.
Yes.
He said, no, don't do that. Keep them together, and gave them a show.
And he said, so he really felt, also Lorne would fly those guys down. No, not fly him down, but he could come in on weeks that he wasn't on the,
yeah.
I'm mixing up facts, but, what I learned during that part was my thing has always been, I don't like Lorne Michaels. Let me get this guy to admit that he's bad. And that will be a good show. And then when I was very proud of myself, very adult of me. I did not want him to go further in slamming Lorne Michaels. I was more interested in why he liked him.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was, I did not know that.
If the biggest crime, I'd say, of losing the tape is you were excellent.
Oh, you think that I was good?
I think you were good. I think you were on your game. You were not monopolizing. You were engaged.
Oh, that's good to hear.
You didn't seem like, you didn't have that star. You didn't have any star worship. You had, you treated him like a peer. It was good.
I think I had a little star worship in my brain, but no, I'm so glad to say that because I don't have to tell you were great because you're never a problem on the show. You're never a problem on the show if there's two people. I could be the problem.
Right.
Because...
Well, I'm just agreeing with you and being patronizing. That's not what I mean to do. I meant to say, because you come in nervous to shit like that.
Yes.
And I'm just saying you did well.
Thank you very much. Are you sure it's lost? Yeah, you told me you kept staring at the memory thing last night.
I was watching it because I'm, obviously I always worry about,
Don't you have this thing like when they like?
It's like, oh shit, there's a guest. I can't lose this show. Wop wop.
We could get a hacker in here. We could get a thing in here. You could put it, spend thousands of dollars. I'm still interrupting. Please finish all the other David Foley facts.
I'm trying to think if there was any other interviewee revelations.
Well, he's closest to Kevin.
Yeah.
Or he started out with Kevin.
Right.
They all did at one point. He didn't want to talk to anybody.
He broke up.
He was Paul McCartney.
And when I asked, was there ever an official breakup of the group, he said, yeah, he quit at one point.
Yeah, he did. So, and you definitely could tell that they did not. That it was hard to work after a while, but any group. Name me one group.
We talked about that. Because
he said he was better. They were better than the Beatles. I thought that was odd.
I don't think that's exactly how
he said that his penis was not only large, it was wide, which I thought was odd.
All right, we're moving on now. I can't.
No.
I can't abide this, Andy Kindler.
I apologize.
I cannot abide the fact we've already disrespected the man enough by fooling him into an interview that didn't exist. Apparently.
Do you know what? He should have brought his own goddamn recorder if he's such a big star.
There you go.
Okay, now we're good. But I do want to give you a chance if you remember anything else that he said.
No, but
he's married to Chrissy, who he was married to, and then they got either divorced or separated, and they're back together. It's the greatest thing in the world because Chrissy Guerrero is great too.
Yeah, they were apart for 10 years.
Yeah. It was really something you should have looked at.
See, that's why.
That's why you don't want to go further.
Exactly. Sorry, everyone. We're going to have Dave Foley back someday.
This can't be one of those shows that we can deeply disappoint anybody, because normally on a regular podcast you'd be teasing so-and-so is coming on. Right. We got a big guest next week.
That was just pure disappointment.
Well, I had to do something. That was above and beyond the call of Andy Kindler today.
Yeah.
They wanted me to make a little tape of myself. I just want to make you
Is this
realize.
An audition tape?
No. Did you say audition tape?
Oh, is this the thing on Twitter where you plugged your gig?
Yes, I want you to know that was not my idea, and I didn't steal it from Jen Kirkman.
Well, no, it looked like a hostage video. I knew that.
And
I'm surprised you didn't hold up a newspaper, let's just say.
And of course, they're right. The guy he's got a small club in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Right.
So he's completely right about how it helps him.
Right. And
it may be something I do. I didn't realize people like to see your pit. Now, if you do it all the time, it gets old, I would imagine.
Well, you don't work that much, Andy. No, I mean, that is honest to God. I mean, I don't know why I have to couch it with honest to God, as opposed to my normal lying to God. It seems like that's part of the game now, is your ability to promote the gig to your following is part of the gig now.
Right. But that's, so 11 retweets and 80 likes. That's crazy amount for a gig that still no one will show up at. Let's not get excited.
Right. But now you can go, not my fault.
Well, that was the thing. When did I go to Seattle? Was it last weekend? Yeah, I went to Seattle, and it was like a really small turnout.
Yeah.
But it was great. I had a great time. It was so much fun. But I still feel like.
But that was Seattle, so you know.
Oh, Lincoln's going to be no. Apparently, this guy books good people, so it should be okay that way.
I was trying to get to a thing where I went, it's not your fault. You're not a draw.
Well, that is. That's the thing. What recommendations here's the recommendations that I could have. I could hire a PR person, which was paying a low amount for, but it was just too much a month to be paying for. But I'd like it, like if I had each gig, maybe. I don't know what to do, but how do people who are relatively unknown, who are over 60, who are on the backside of their career, who don't look like someone's, if it hasn't happened now, maybe it's never going to happen. How do they get to the next level?
You're doing it right now, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, this is it. And I blame myself because, I don't even need to look at myself during the podcast. I blame myself because I should be thinking more about promotion. No, I'm not really blaming myself, but what can we do? I don't think it's Instagram for me. I keep calling it Instagram.
Yeah.
You have an Instagram.
I do. I'm not particularly active, but I do. But, you know.
But the reason why I think
the last picture I posted was from the New York premiere.
Right. But the idea, like, you know how they say if you post just even a photo of yourself or you're walking into a store, it'll get way more attention. I don't want to be that kind of person because I don't like it that much where I'm, hey, filming myself here and here I am at the thing.
No, I don't think you need to turn your life into a magazine ad. I think you can, but announcing a gig once ain't gonna hurt you.
No. It wasn't the announcing of the gig. It was the first time I ever made one of those little video announcements.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, and
I mean, I wouldn't,
You wouldn't go.
I wouldn't go, but I watched it.
I also got a little chuckle. I don't chuckle there. Look, my hair's over here. Maybe you've seen too much of this kind of comedy from me. Look at me. My hair's like that. Susan laughed.
There you go.
So, and that's what I did today. And
it wasn't degrading. There's nothing degrading.
Yes. Well, that's the thing you don't want to do.
I know you feel like it is.
Oh, no, I don't. I don't feel it's degrading. I feel it's that if I do something too much, it loosens it. But like you say, it weakens it. But as you say, I don't have that many gigs to promote.
Right.
If I do one more for what I was thinking was I'd like to actually do it more for the 3 or 4 gigs I have.
Good.
So let's.
It's a resolution.
Is this going to come out in time for? No.
I
think I promoted it though.
If it's recording.
Look at me though. I got it. And not only that, I put my recording on auto. There's no idiot like me going, but I'm not saying you're an idiot.
Yeah, I think you are.
But here's the thing I was saying. Your big time or many podcasts, or in fact, people sometimes sign up with some producer or distributor so they don't have to do anything to do with the recording.
Right.
So I thank you for doing something that you really shouldn't have to be having to do. You know what I mean? And performing. So I'm just amazed now that any of them were recorded.
Thank you, Andy.
Hello.
Thank you. You know how I love a pep talk.
Let me tell you something, Josh. Maybe last night wasn't your best night. Maybe we will get in trouble for it. Maybe Dave Foley won't talk to us. Maybe other people of our, but you're gonna come back from this. You're gonna come back.
I'm gonna come back.
Just like Sunland did today. Sunland, it was the EU ambassador.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, wait a second. I may have not said everything. I'm now reminded of things I forgot." Yes, I did ask them for a quick pro quo.
All right, as Joel Madison said, this is really starting to look like a lot more like quid amateur pro. Quid amateur quo.
Now, why does he now? He just says that.
He said you could have it too. I said that's Andy Kindler material. He said.
This tells me. This tells I'm going to use it. If he said I could have it,
he did.
It's more like quid amateur pro.
Quo. That's the hard part.
Oh, because quid pro.
You're
quo.
replacing.
It's more like quid manager. Quid.
See, it's a tough one.
It's more like quid amateur quo.
There you go. Yeah.
Now I'm like that hilarious Liberty Mutual commercial where he keeps messing up. So, well, I'm glad that. When did you speak to Joel today?
Yeah.
How's he doing?
That was by text.
You guys text a lot.
We do.
You are a miracle man.
He's one of the few people I text a lot with.
Is that true?
Yeah.
How many people do you have consistent phone calls with? Gruber
I had lunch with yesterday.
He was in, that's right. He was in town because I think he was taking.
I'm pretty sure he was in town. Yeah.
You know, at some point, your belittling affects my acting.
Sorry, little guy.
You know, I'm a little bit sensitive about how short I am, so I hope this doesn't become a thing with you.
No, I never bring it up.
Okay, that's good.
Say hello to the nice people.
Why is that? Because I'm a dummy now, right? Don't put me back in the box, Josh. Are we going to talk about the wonderful experience that you had at the awards?
At the Fiddling Horse has won yet another, a little more hardware.
Let's go out of the frying pan into the fire.
From the one best comedy at the Hollywood Magazine Film
There is no
Festival.
such thing as a Hollywood Magazine.
Well, that's where you're wrong.
There is?
Yes.
Hollywood Magazine.
Yes, it's given away in many fine places.
Oh, I thought it was just a generic title.
No, it's an actual fake magazine.
So give us a rundown on how. I mean, first of all, I know it was. I couldn't make it because I could make it.
Yeah.
Excuse me for the burping or whatever I'm doing, hiccuping. But I flew in, and I was very tired. And another thing where Josh saved my bacon.
Well, yeah, because I had looked at the website, And I had, this ain't my first film festival rodeo. So I determined, okay, this is one of those pretending to be show business film festivals.
Yeah, you could tell right away?
Yeah.
I couldn't find the website.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was on the Warner Brothers lot.
Right.
And so Andy texts me. You text me. I don't need to know. It's hard to know if I'm broadcasting or conversing. So you texted me, and I texted back. You said I'll be there. I can make it there by 6. I'm leaving Seattle now, and I'm kind of like, don't sweat this.
Yeah, and you went, really?
And you were like, ha, ha, ha. I'm like, no, really?
You told me that before it, though, even. Said, don't worry if because I was worried. I was already worried in Seattle I was going to make
Right,
it.
I knew you'd be worried, and I knew.
That's a true friend.
That
is a true friend.
That was good friend work, I thought.
You saved me.
Because I would have liked to have had you there just for the, just for the Waldorf to my Statler.
How about the Waldorf?
But Paula was an excellent Waldorf. So.
How about the Waldorf to your Astoria?
Or
Come
my
on.
salad.
Boom, bang, yeah, boop, boop. So, but earlier this week, you had texted me. This was also another good. We have some. I don't know. I'm not saying we'll release the text as a bonus, but you texted me and you said, "Are you going to this thing?"
Yeah.
I had just heard about it that minute.
Right.
Are you going? So I text, oh, well, I got him, I'm eating dinner now and something like that.
You did,
yeah. And then, and I, as you said, oh, you're getting ice cream, right?
Well, yeah, I think you said something like, I just walked in and I have to deal with a bunch of stuff
So
as we were in the middle of our texting. And I'm like, so you have ice cream?
it was so obvious. I couldn't even get it out. I can't get away with any, bullshit conversational text with you.
No, I'm a pretty observant dude, so you give me 3 years of constant talking, I'm going to pick up some things.
Yeah, 3 years of you've seen me when I push the ball down the hall. Oh, I'm going to look as soon as. Well, the thing was, I didn't receive any. We received very little information about it. So, how many people were there? Was it in a room or what was it?
It was in a screening room at Warner Brothers. But it was people, they had like, a red carpet line that was like in way too small a space and everyone going sort of hustling down, being interviewed by more specious journalistic sources, doing mostly recording with iPhones. And, it was sort of like showbiz cosplay,
Yeah.
And, and I feel a little bad belittling this institution, which bestowed an award on us.
Yeah.
But then the actual show the screening thing was just this bizarre mix of stuff that wasn't really very well programmed, including like a segment from In Search Of with Zachary Quinto about Shaolin monks, and who break wooden dowels over their head. And then there was here they are. Here's the Shaolin monks from.
Oh, they came? Even the Shaolin monks?
And so there's like a little stick whacking demonstration, including an incredibly impressive hard whack to one of the Shaolin monks' taint.
Now.
So, and you go, okay, how does this all fit together? And it turns out it doesn't.
Well, but that was the highlight. They should have closed with that.
Exactly. I have a big problem with a show that peaks at taint whacking and also doesn't close with taint whacking.
And you were, did you have a good spread there?
There was no spread.
Were there any
whatsoever.
drinks?
No, there was a water cooler, which I suspect was where you're supposed to go outside and talk about what you just saw. That's what I hear.
So you were sitting there. Did you bring your own waters in?
There was some cases of water over in the corner that Paula was adept enough to grab one. But, and then they started showing a thing and I went outside just cause like I needed to walk around cause we were into hour 2. And they were like started playing the slavery, like another like History Channel, like slavery with dramatic reenactments.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are they showing this exactly? And it's a room that there's a huge percentage of African Americans in the audience too. So I'm going, it's like, there was no introduction to this. Why are they, why are they showing this? And it turns out they weren't even supposed to show it.
Right. You thought you
it
were
was like it apparently was on someone's hard drive and they pushed the wrong file or something. So I left when that started. I come back. Nope, it hasn't. Now they're showing an actual real short film.
Was it to the point where where the computer comes up and says you hit play? And
I don't know. I missed the transition, unfortunately. But at that point, when I went outside, all the little awards were on a table. So I rifled through them and found our award and took.
Are you kidding me? You went out there and looked at who won the award?
I was like, oh, good, we won the comedy.
Did anyone catch you doing that?
We knew we were going to win an award. They told us that. They just didn't tell us what.
No one said to you, get away from nobody from
no one gave a shit.
What's the accounting firm?
There was Price nor Waterhouse were there. There wasn't even a mayonnaise jar on Funkin' Wagnall's porch.
Has been kept in a mayonnaise jar. But
I took a picture of our little trophy and texted it in to those guys on the inside. and then there was a moment where CJ said, okay, they're going to just show our trailer next. And then they didn't. And then they started showing another thing. Like they were going to show like 30 minutes of a feature film. So they're, and I was like, all right, I'm done. Because we were well into hour 3 at that point. I'm like, I gotta go, guys. Sorry. And then apparently after that, there was like a huge tribute to like Nigerian Boko Haram fighters. Like there was like this big humanitarian sort of.
Aren't we anti Boko Haram?
Yeah, fighting Boko Haram.
Yeah.
Yes, fighters of Boko Haram,
right.
I should say. Which I'm sure was very touching and horrifying. And at that point, CJ requested that they don't show our little comedy trailer after that.
Is that what it was going to be?
Yeah, that's apparently what they had planned. And he was like, Please don't show our trailer after that. And then he and the others slipped out.
Okay, so there was never and the winner is?
They would have little packages would come up on screen occasionally of a category, and they'd list a few movies, and then they'd show the winner of it.
And
but only certain movies were represented there, and they did a whole panel for one short film, which was longer than the short film. It was a tough night.
Well, I'm very happy that CJ is
and then so you get somewhere around in the second hour, you text and go, I'm on my way. Walking out the door to CJ.
And I was hoping he would say, this is horrible.
And CJ is like, Andy's on his way. I'm like, CJ, let him off the hook.
Oh.
Let him off the hook. Come on. It's all right.
Oh my God! You really did save me.
I did. I was an excellent friend.
And I was exhausted.
Makes me feel a lot better about wiping out an hour of your life from yesterday.
It's not. Oh man, that was so.
The 3 I saved you.
Well, I had texted CJ as I was going back from the airport. I said, "Is it hopping over there?" And he goes, "No, it's not hopping, but it could be hopping when you get here."
Yeah.
Text me when you're ready or something like that. And then that's why I texted him. I went all the way to putting my actual shirt and jacket on.
Yeah.
I was showered and maybe I was showered already. But anyway, I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, we probably should have stopped you before the shower, but oh well. But, it's not CJ's fault,
No.
He didn't know, and I asked him, if you want me there, I'll come.
And Paula came.
Were
you guys doing a lot of digs?
There was a lot. There was I should have had a robot puppet, yeah.
Wow. Well.
So that was fun. But we won. More hardware. 4 festivals, 3 awards.
At one point, CJ said, I'll accept your award for you. And when he said that, I was like,
heart starts thumping.
Was it another best acting moment? Wait, I didn't get a best actor. I got nominated for an acting, right?
Say whatever you want, but yes.
Yeah, I won Yeah, I did that too. Well, is it time to talk about? Not yet.
It's
David Crosby?
We can talk about it. Sure, let's talk about that.
Okay, so we both watched the David Crosby documentary.
Remember My Name, it's called.
Yes, which is the name of an album that I don't have. Do you?
No.
But it sounds like a good album. It sounded like that was a solo album that didn't get much response.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm writing it down.
You're writing it down and not
Yeah.
buying it later.
I loved it, but I want to let you go first.
No, you go first.
Okay, I loved it because, first of all, I grew up loving Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and that was. I hate to make everything about me, but I tend to do this. It was one of my first albums. So when they were Susan's a photographer, obviously, and she's met Henry Diltz before.
So yeah.
Oh, where'd you meet him?
Around.
But like Henry Diltz was kind of like a photographer who was like there when it was happening,
right?
But it's like I remember those album covers from when I was a kid because Deja Vu was one of the first albums I had.
Right.
So what I realized is, having loved them all these years, I never really was able to distinguish between what the voices were. Like I can know Neil Young's voice. So it was really interesting to hear David Crosby's voice isolated, and that he had such an amazing voice. I just love his singing so much. And I don't know, the whole story to me, it was a good story about fame, about the downsides of fame and things like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I can't give so many. It fleshed out times I did. It told me a lot about him I didn't know. He had about his girlfriend that he had who died when he was young. He had I don't know, remember that part?
Yeah.
So, and to hear how he alienated people, although they didn't talk exactly substance to how he alienated people. Those three people.
Right.
But I thought that was the honesty of him showing that, and the different little things where they asked him, he goes, I do have friends, but the major people I play music with will no longer talk to me.
Right.
So I just thought it was really kind of cool, and I know there wasn't a bunch of music, right? There was some.
Yeah.
There was a decent amount of music, and it made me really want to see get the albums he has, the newer albums he has. And it was cool to see when he got the award after he had gone through all that stuff, when his friends were there at the Grammys or something.
I think it was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So I just ate the whole thing up. I loved when they went back to where the house that he was on.
Yeah.
And they talked about how within 30 seconds they knew that the harmonies were, when they first sang together, they knew how great they were. So I loved it. I know I didn't, not that specific enough.
Yeah, no, I walked away with different feelings about it.
Yeah, tell me what's up.
And I love Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but I just feel like it wasn't good storytelling, the movie itself, because that's a big story that these people with whom he collaborated won't fucking speak to him.
Right.
The whole story is basically, this guy's an asshole. But you never see what that means very much, You see him talking about the Kennedy assassination in Monterey. You see, like the Byrds are willing to talk about what an asshole he was, but no one after that went on camera for this movie about it,
Yeah.
So they could only use archival stuff about the other people talking about him.
What'd they use for Graham Nash? I forgot.
Just some interview from elsewhere.
Well,
so clear, and he's not an asshole in this movie.
No.
So that there's a huge missing piece that you're not seeing. You know what I mean? It's like the questions never got probing very much. It was kind of like whatever he sort of felt like talking about, and Cameron Crowe didn't push him. Cameron Crowe was the interviewer. I also watched Echo in the Canyon.
Okay.
This past week.
Yeah.
Which is on Netflix now. Which is about the same era in Laurel Canyon and all the people who were there. A lot of crossover between the two movies. But I don't know. I've heard all these stories. They're all 50-year-old stories. And
I haven't heard any of them. That's why it was good for me.
I don't know. It seemed they seem like basic level sort of rock and roll fan knowledge about who lived in Laurel Canyon. And yes, I've heard them all talk about how they used to go, knock on the door and say, "Hey, listen to this." And
Right.
So the romanticism of it, it's over for me. You know, these are all old stories to me at this point, and I feel like, I don't know. I'm in a mood right now in general about the reverence of artists. I have less patience for it at this point in my life.
Why do you think that is?
I'm not sure. I think part of it is just that being an artist is an essentially selfish thing, I think. I think it's an essentially selfish pursuit. And so, you know, and I'm in, you know, I'm one of them.
Right.
I'm not excluding myself from that.
Yeah.
But I think the aggrandizing of it, of people following their own bliss, I don't think it's heroic, you know?
Yeah.
And I think the hero,
Like what,
and so I feel like the hero worship is what rubs me wrong at times, you know?
the hero worship from the people making it, you think?
Just the hero worship in general, you know, of, you know, these 22-year-olds in 1967 who wrote some songs, you know? I think it's cool. They're good songs, but I don't feel like that's Mount Olympus, you know?
Well, I guess it's weird for me because I still have that, like, you know, I'm still very connected to how my life was changed by listening to Dylan. So I still have reverence for Dylan, and I'll cry like a baby when he dies. So I don't
I guess what I'm saying is, okay, boomer.
Yeah. No. It's, you know, this is, you know, normally, like, sometimes I hope I'm not sounding defensive about this.
No, I mean,
I'm just saying,
I meant to have a discussion about it because I don't feel like my position is right necessarily. I feel like that's just where I'm kind of at right now. I'm in a sort of cranky phase about, you know, okay, great. You know, yes, you had a band, you know, know, and part of it is that I've been spoiled by knowing so many incredibly talented people my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, who I've collaborated with and who I've, you know, watched do all this great work. So I just happen to think that's, you know, what they're talking about in that movie is just another example of that, you know, of creative people vibing with each other.
So I guess the thing is for me that since that was one of my hero band, it's like, to me, it's almost like I'm reconnecting with what got me started into all the things I love,
right,
which is like Dylan and all these things that form the basis of like my soul in a way. Like I think of it as
I get it,
as soul lifting music.
I get it, but it's all, you know, that's all self-centered. You know what I mean?
Well, that part is self-centered because it's about
know?
my life, and
right? And I don't mean it derisively. I just mean that I think that's how most people feel. It's like, you know, soundtrack of your life kind of shit, where it's these people are revered because you made me feel this way that time in 1975. You made me feel this way that time in 68, you know? And those things, you take those things to heart.
Right.
And, you know, and I'm not trying to dissuade people. I'm not on a crusade here.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know, I'm in sort of more eye roll mode about it all. Like, okay, yes. And so to some extent, I respect Crosby because he does walk what he talks. When he talks about, you know, turning on the smoke machines and playing the hits as a way to play out your years, like, that's not satisfying. So, like, I respect that. I don't disrespect the people who are out there playing their hits, except if they act like that's still art. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, though that's the whole tricky part of this is that we're in a field where,
like, a Stones concert at this point
has no interest
is a
in
super cool exchange of energy between people. You know, it's 50,000 people projecting their own thing onto these old.
Well,
guys
I hated the last time I saw it because it was too big. I felt like that just X'd me out of that experience of seeing concerts. I don't want to see like a stadium show.
No, I don't anymore either.
But
because I don't bring enough enthusiasm to the table.
Yeah.
To make it worth, you know, and that's what that requires. That requires you, that self-centered excitement, to be there to make that whole thing work.
Well, I can't believe I saw the Dead in Englishtown, and I had New Jersey, and I see now people have put online what it looked like there. I have no memory of it being all these people. But I remember it being a major event for me to go to this thing or to see.
Right. But you never look at the people behind you at a concert.
No, it was also, I don't remember there being that many people. That's the thing. Like my experience of it was different than it was, but it was a time period that I don't think when you're 18, 19, 20, I think, or through your 20s even, you're meant to be more excited about those things, I think, about going out and seeing concerts and things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I'm almost 50.
Yeah.
At 48, I don't have it, and that's part of what poisons the whole thing for me is, I don't know. I don't exactly know what I'm saying. I just know that I walked away, I didn't understand. Echo in the Canyon's a different movie.
How was that?
I didn't enjoy it because.
How would you compare them to? You can't compare them really.
Well,
right?
Echo in the Canyon is built around Jacob Dylan and some other musicians like Beck and Regina Spektor and.
So is John Bryan in there?
John Bryan did not, but it felt like a Largo show.
Yeah.
But so it's them doing, a concert of Jacob did an album of this as this is, I guess, of the 50-year anniversary of Laurel Canyon. So Jacob is the one sort of doing these interviews.
Yeah.
But, and then they're intercutting between them sort of it's sort of an infomercial for this album, and they're intercutting these very staged kind of sitting in Jacob's living room with a table full of albums going through,
Oh, yeah. That just sounds not as good as the one.
It's not as good, and he's, Jacob Dylan is kind of a lummox as an interviewer. He's just, he's there sort of as a totem for
the time period and
kind of, yeah.
Not the time period because he's being past
but
the
it's
time
like,
period.
but Jacob Dylan's thing is passing this stuff on to the next generation. But it's like, well, you'd be passing it on a couple, Jacob Dylan's 51 or 2, so it's like, who are you passing it on to,
Yeah. Did you see the Tower Records one?
Yeah.
I thought that was, did you like that?
That was more interesting because there was more new information to be told,
Yeah.
It was a story that hasn't been as oft told,
And it's interesting.
And that's what I feel about these things. It's like, unless you're going to bring some sort of perspective to this, like what's the point in just telling these stories over and over again, like folk tales,
Well, here's the perspective I think that could be new for some people is that, I didn't know that I'm willing to accept that he has some new songs that he wrote at a certain age, which is, so it makes me want to listen to at least one of those albums of his more recent albums.
Yeah.
Because I think that's interesting that someone could come through all that and become creative again. Because that's a weird field, music. It's like music more than it's not like comedy.
Right.
It's like when we're talking to Dave Foley last night,
shut up. Oh, sorry.
The kids in the hall had to stop at one time, it couldn't keep going on,
right.
But the ability to be funny doesn't ever really stop. But the ability to make music sometimes is so much connected with the other people who were with you and the time period, it's like, that's my image of it, is that they have this burst and then they don't have it necessarily 50 years later.
Yeah, but I mean, that's true of any artist, I think. I think there's, there is an arc to.
That's true. That's true. I think I'm artificially again, in a self-centered way, projecting my own, like I feel sometimes on stage. I feel in my life that I've never, I'm doing what I've always been doing. I don't feel any deterioration or that I'm trying.
All right. No, in fact, you've gotten better over the course of
years. So I feel, so I don't know why I'm trying to then say, how does creativity work? But a lot of the thing, which I did think was interesting, was just how sad it was all his friends died and how they died. And they all died the same way. Hendrix and they all had these.
I did love how much he just fucking hates Jim Morrison.
That was great.
And the Doors.
What a dork. He said, what a dork.
He came at him a few times in the movie.
I also like the animated things. I've seen them do that.
It's so overdone.
Do you think it's overdone? I think it's a kind of a new way in the way. Like I love those Mike Judge ones, which are all, I guess, animated.
Yeah, but so many docs are using it as ways to create gaps in their file footage.
Well, that's the thing. I think is like I think I definitely do watch these things differently from
You
the type
totally
of person
do than
I am.
me.
The type
I mean, I've directed 2 documentaries.
yes,
so.
you're a documentary filmmaker, so. And before you made documentary films, you still couldn't watch. You always watched things analytically.
Yes.
So to me, it was like, the hour and a half went like 2 minutes, and I just loved that whatever I saw.
Yeah, and to me, it's like what stood out was like what wasn't covered, what wasn't asked. You know.
Yes.
They never really talked about. Aside, he was a drug addict, and you're supposed to sort of fill it in, and he kind of said. Yeah, I used to get angry. That was my fault. But we never know what that looks like. We never know, you know, it's like, it feels like you've got to be a huge fucking dick to alienate Graham Nash like that to the point where he's screaming fuck you in your face on stage, you know?
Yeah. They did show some weird shots of him just playing at that time period.
Yeah, they like weren't talking to each other. And then they showed their last appearance at the horrible White House singing Silent Night.
Now, aren't you glad you
Night.
saw that? That was unbelievable. Have you ever seen that before?
No, I had never seen that footage before, but I think I told you the story when they were on later with Greg Kinnear, and we had to lie to them to get them to try to redo the song.
How'd you lie to them?
We had an audio problem. I'm sorry. Because they had done In My Life by the Beatles.
And it was terrible?
It was like jaw-droppingly bad, yeah.
And it was okay the second time?
It was better.
Wow.
But it was like uncomfortable looking around the room going, what the fuck are we going to do? Crosby, Stills, and Nash is terrible.
But that Silent Night thing, that was...
Yeah, it was
because they're
brutal.
known for harmonies.
Yeah, it was brutal. They got a laugh. It was so bad. Did you hear at the beginning? It was like there was like a little laugh in the crowd. And
the kids looked very disturbed by it. Could you tell who was off, or they were all off?
They were all off.
Silent Night.
Yeah, it was bad. I mean, it was like, you know, and it was like laugh-worthy bad.
Well, I guess I want him to be... Yeah, I do have this thing where
I don't know. I found it sad. Ultimately, I found it sad. And I found it like... sort of, you know, what I feel about a lot of musicians, which is, well, that's the good thing about them. Is that they make music and do good, you know. But the ones that I respect are the ones who can make their art and grow into a decent human being at the same time. And it feels like David Crosby just kind of went, meh.
Oh, I think that he is an example of someone who, the angle of the movie, which would have been more interesting, like what you're saying, if they had explored it more, was exactly why was he an asshole? Because he does seem like a nicer person now in general, but then you don't know because, like, I love to see his family life now, and I really relate. So I was really relating to that whole thing where you have to go and you love your wife and you don't want to leave, and how sick he is. His 8 stents. You can't have any more stents than 8.
Yeah.
Which made me realize, I guess it has to do with ventricles. What is it? Things going in and out of the heart.
I mean, you could get bypasses, it seems like. You could actually get...
Oh, is that... Oh, the stent is not a bypass.
No, the stent is a mesh inserted into the artery to open it up.
I don't think they want to do a big thing with him now.
Probably not.
So I thought that was pretty amazing that he still goes on the road and he's still...
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of the underlying theory of the whole movie, or the underlying thesis of the whole movie is David Crosby could die at any minute. It was almost like a way of going, give the guy a break, he could die.
That's not what it was.
It kind of was.
No, well, no, there's no reason to argue with this because there's nothing to argue about. It is all subjective and all, in my case, having brought in so much wanting to love it too.
Right.
Which I tend to do with documentaries more than I do with other things. I like any footage of anything.
I'm so much more turned on by growth than music.
You're what?
I'm much more turned on as a viewer, as a observer of things by growth than someone's great music. You know what I mean? It's a much more interesting story to me of someone who, like, it just doesn't feel like he grew out of it. It feels like he just resigned himself to the fact, people, I piss people off.
Oh, I think he's very sad about it.
I don't know. I don't know if he is.
He said, because I think he's basically saying they won't talk to me and there's nothing I can do about it because I was so fucked up. You know?
Yeah, no, I mean, what I heard is they don't like me. I'm not going to try.
Oh, I think he knows he was an asshole. But the one thing that you're absolutely right about is they delved into that not at all. They could have delved into it from his point of view.
Yeah.
Well, what happened with you and Graham Nash?
Right.
But that might have been he didn't want to go into it or something. But that wouldn't make sense. He's already out there saying...
Yeah, so I would have liked to have heard a little more of even what he believed made him an asshole.
Yes. Well, I still give it 4 muffins and
it's an interesting.
a quiche Lorraine.
If you're into that era, it's definitely interesting to see one possible outcome for a guy who is a genius musician, but not a genius human being.
He also gave the counterpoint to Woodstock, which I do think is still a valid thing, which was there were more, like my image of it was there were amazing things that happened.
The counterpoint to my thing?
Well, it's not just your thing. Right. Didn't we read an email from a viewer?
Yes, but that was because he so vehemently agreed with me with my take on it.
He went further than your take.
Yeah, because he was there.
I still tend to think that there was a good thing about Woodstock, and the story he told I thought was a good story about the policeman helping the woman out of the mud.
Yeah, no, of course there was good stuff about Woodstock. The question is,
did
it have any lasting impact aside from people's stories about that great weekend?
Oh, it did. I like the original movie, but I don't know if I could watch it now.
But it's about that weekend. What I'm saying is my whole thing about it was the inflation of its importance.
Jimi Hendrix playing the Star Spangled Banner, I think, was a major thing. Amazing. It was an amazing performance that you would never get anywhere else. That's only from there.
No, he did it at other shows.
Fuck you. I'm done now with the reviews. Done. Can't do it now. Now I am getting
He didn't even open his set with it. It just looked like he did in the movie.
That's how movies are made. Yes. But it looked great when he did it there. And and there were people I heard there who were great. But I don't know.
I'm just saying it was a concert. A good one. It was a concert.
But it did capture peace, and that it could be. It showed the way that these kids were not all, but we believe that anyway. I didn't think the kids were all fucked up. I was on the side of the kids.
Yeah, but they were all there by choice to do something they wanted to do. It's not a good experiment, really. It wasn't society.
I think when something lasts, I guess, an interesting point though. When something becomes iconic, is the original event ever was what the historical view is on it?
Again, it comes down to my whole sensitivity about false narratives, where where the story is one thing, and I'm like, well, I'm seeing something different here.
No, but those things happened at Woodstock. I mean, they didn't get electrocuted. You wouldn't have seen the Woodstock movie.
Of course it
if
happened.
45 people got electrocuted.
Other people were kind to people at other concerts.
It never came together quite like this, where there were that many people.
No, of course. I understand. It was a unique event. But was it what I'm saying is, yes, it was a unique event.
I think it was a world-changing event.
Okay, I disagree.
Okay.
And we'll be back after this.
Be back. Are we taking a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Okay.
What are we playing?
Oh.
Here's a chunk.
Okay. Here's a chunk.
I don't walk through the world feeling brave. There was one time in my life I felt brave for an extended period. It was the best job I ever had, in fact. It was when I was 15 years old, oddly enough. Had a job at a haunted house called Ghost Manor, and my job was playing Chainsaw Guy. That was my role. That was my training, essentially. I went in, they gave me a hockey mask and a chainsaw, and said, "You're Chainsaw Guy." And I said, "So I'm like Jason from Friday the 13th?" He went, "No, you're Chainsaw Guy. We're going to get sued." All right. Yeah, I'm sure they're looking at Ghost Manor. So I was like, "So what do I say? Do I say anything?" He's like, "No, you don't talk. You never talk." I'm like, "All right, well, Jason doesn't talk, but all right." And he goes, "Your job is to rev the chainsaw whenever anyone comes around that corner." Great job. It's a great job. Because the startle rate of when you come around the corner, 100%. Everyone's scared. It's great. You don't get that kind of feedback at a job usually. And then there's about an It's followed usually by about an 80% anger rate. Like, hey, you just waved a chainsaw at me, that kind of anger. And then there's like a 10 to 15% just super pissed off, irate. Usually dudes like, dude, what the hell's wrong with you? You almost killed my girlfriend. And, you know, and there wasn't a chain in the chainsaw, but I couldn't tell them that. I couldn't speak, so I just go, I'm going to kick your ass, dude. And I go, As the month got on, I actually got more expressive. I could laugh at them. If I made a kid cry, I could be... But these dudes would threaten me on a regular basis, and I was never scared. Never scared, because I had a chainsaw. And a hockey mask, in case I... So just... The last Halloween I enjoyed. And I guess it's only because I didn't work there long enough to get the guy who came around the corner and said, I've been preparing for this moment my entire life.
Ha! That was a good chunk.
Thank you so much.
I'm lying. I didn't get a chance to listen to it.
Well, why did you need to break that magic?
Right, let me pretend again. Ah!
You didn't listen. Oh, wait, I blew it this time.
All right, we're back.
We're back. We were talking about your travel anxiety during the break.
Yeah, what happens is that that I get anxious for everything, and I get anxious for everything, but for years I didn't know it was anxiety, so what did I think it was? I just thought it was...
That's the question,
isn't that weird?
Really. Yeah.
I just got...
You just thought it was excited energy, maybe?
No. I would get angry, and I would get all these things, and I would get frustrated, but I didn't then... Like, I could get...
You were catastrophizing everything?
Yeah, I could catastrophize or self-sabotage sometimes, or whatever the thing is. But now that I know, I talked to my therapist, and now that I know that these things are natural, then you just have to try and take care of yourself while you're going through these things. As opposed to seeing every time I start to feel anxiety, I know what it is. I interpret anxiety as boredom, or I'm lazy, or because it doesn't always get to the point where it's anxiety. Sometimes It's just like
that low hum
of, and so I just then interpret you're a horrible person. You haven't, and that is the part that I'm starting to leave behind because it just doesn't help. It doesn't help the other layer of it's my fault.
Right.
That's a specific thing that came from my family and other people's families, I'm sure. It's your fault.
Despite the fact that you can't control whether you have anxiety, being able to identify it at least gives you some control over the universe, It
does. And it, in fact, it doesn't eliminate it, but it makes me stop going the route of beating myself up.
Right.
And just relaxing, and then sometimes it can pass.
Right.
But I haven't mastered this anxiety thing at all. Like
nor have I.
I threw up yesterday. And I never used to throw up at all. The only thing I'll say is that when you throw up from anxiety, nervousness, it goes better. It's not like
It is an actual release.
It is an actual release. It's not like... I never liked it when I was drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the sign of weakness.
I had never had... I guess maybe I'm getting good at vomiting. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know how I can turn that into...
Special skills.
Oh, we just talked about special skills over at the other podcast. Jewish humor.
Right. The one that got recorded, not the one.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also have saber fencing on my...
Yeah.
So what am I hoping to get cast as? The lead of Robin Hood?
Imagine that sounds... You getting a sword fighting scene? Imagine what a worst case scenario that would actually be.
Well, it would be comedy, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
I don't find that original resume I had years ago does anything more
Doesn't
for me.
hold up.
No one ever is asked to see my complete list upon request. Those things are gone now somehow.
Oh, great. You didn't unpause your recorder.
Oh, this is so stupid. Oh, my God. So now that I've ruined the whole thing. Well, we could still use it, right?
We could still use it.
What a jerk. This shows you how hard. This is the backup recording of the show, and then I forgot to turn it back on. Because what you do is you leave it running the whole time. It doesn't matter. We got most of it.
Angela.
Oh, Angela. So, I guess in a nutshell, here's what I'll tell you in a nutshell.
Okay.
I've probably said it a million times, but here's the way it is. I can get up in the morning and I could say to myself, you need to clean out your closet or you need to do these several things. But then if I go down to, you need to clean out your closet, but you haven't got rid of your storeroom, which you should have gotten rid of years ago, and you're doomed. That tends to be how I've lived my life, is the catastrophizing.
Right.
So now I'm trying to just tell that voice to go fuck itself, or just say, so what to that voice, and then allow myself to have a life from it.
Right.
Because my father, and maybe not your father, but my parents really did have a depression era anxiety. They were always freaked out. My father was always freaked out about not that he would yell at the house, I'm out of money, but I just had a lot of these insecurities or ways of approaching life. I know I got from them.
Right.
You know? And the truth is that that extra level of I'm screwed, and then that deflates me further and further and further, doesn't help me clean out my closet.
Right. Well, so any of you out there who want to clean out Andy's closet, let's give us a...
I don't think that was the message, but you know what? What I should do is say, does it bring me joy? Isn't that what the...
Marie Kondo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lived in a Marie Kondo for a couple of years.
Not to be confused with Murray Kondo, the king of Miami Beach real estate.
A lot of people want us to do callbacks. Well, should we get into questions or answers or
all of the above? How about that?
This is the first time it's 24 hours old, the questions.
That's probably not.
Oh.
Emilio Fox. Hi, Emilio. Says, if you were sent to Judgment City from Albert Brooks defending your life right now, would you be selected to advance to the next stage, or would you be sent back to Earth?
I think mine would look very much like Albert Brooks's. My favorite one is when he folds immediately. He rehearses with his wife or whatever about how much he's going to ask for the job.
Yes.
Absolutely not. And then the next day, boom, takes the first offer.
Yes.
That's how I think my life would look back. But no, there would also be a lot of lovely moments. But I do think I would tend to more of that kind of look back. I would be embarrassed to look back at me folding my tent.
Well, the central question, though, of that movie was your life ruled by fear, essentially?
And I would say my life has not been ruled by fear, but it has been altered by fear.
Yeah. Fear is a big part of your life, though.
It is a big part of my life.
Yeah.
So that I could relate to that. But, I would like to be sent to the next level if that's a choice.
Sure.
Like he got, and that movie was cool because Meryl Streep was so outgoing and didn't care, and she was eating her spaghetti, and so I guess the question makes me realize how much I relate to Albert Brooks, and his anxieties.
Yeah. No, I mean it's a brilliant movie in that regard.
There's so many weird things that he did in that movie. Not weird things, but things like I love it, but I don't really know why I love it. But it's like that you can get food instantly. It's like that's part of the life.
Right.
They order the food and it comes.
And it's the best.
It's the best, and it's instantly.
And you can eat as much as you want.
And the food that Rip Torn was eating, you wouldn't want it, he said.
Right.
Because they're beyond, in his thing, they're beyond having to have food.
Right.
It's so good. So, I think it'd be a mixture. I think anybody's life would be a mixture.
Well, but that's not the question. But is on balance, do you move on or get sent back?
I move on, or I get sent back. Move on. Just much like Albert Brooks did in that movie. What's your take?
On the heels of some person who deserved to move on, you mean?
Oh, didn't he? Right, that's true. Well, that's exactly any way you get to the next level. I'm not a beyond being a coat hanger or hanging. Well, not a coat hanger, but a coattail rider. So, what do you think?
I don't know. I think I feel like there are many instances in my life that I'm proud of the taking the not afraid choice. So I think I would move on that basis. That isn't, I work on fear and ego as my two central sort of self-questioning issues.
What's your fear? Just general fears?
Just general fears, yeah. I mean, my fears are fucking up.
Right.
That's one of my biggest fears.
But not walking back in the dark to my house.
No,
from here?
I don't spend a lot of time having physical fear.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a good one. I wonder if that's because you're taller.
I think it's because I'm big.
Yeah.
I think it's a different way of going through the world.
You hear that, robbers? Don't start with him.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm not a giant pussy, but I'm also not a target.
Right. You're not a target and you're not thinking about it. Because I have noticed that I've walked around the area where we live in darkness.
Yeah.
And there are some things there's things happening in this neighborhood late at night that would mean like I wouldn't have Susan walking around.
Right.
So there's something about...
No, I would, and I would be much more worried about sending Allison out to walk around at night than...
Right. And you wouldn't walk around at night as a thing, but you would be afraid.
I would not be afraid to walk around our neighborhood at night, but I would do it with some awareness.
Right. Well, I walked up your street like a couple of times again this week. Somehow I end up on your street. And so I was walking and I looked over and I saw that the garage was open and I saw a figure. May have been you, may not have been you, but there's like part of me that's like, hey, is it you, Josh? Allison? Hey, I'm walking by. What are the odds of that?
Why wouldn't you say hello, Andy?
Because
Why wouldn't you give me a chance to say I have ice cream?
Because you were... I looked. I didn't want to do one of these like binocular looks.
Yeah.
So I looked and I saw it was open, which it's not usually open, your garage.
No.
And then I saw a figure go into the back room. So I would have had to have gone off of the street and knocked. That's not acceptable.
No, that's not necessary.
That's right. I appreciate you saying necessary. There's no reason for that.
No, that wouldn't be unwelcome, but it wouldn't be welcome.
Well, I just feel like I'm a very simple person, or there's something that I'm endlessly delighted by, is that, oh, there's Josh's house. I mean, you have to say that I have a little bit of a childlike quality.
Well, that's good. That's a good one.
Oh, the garage is open. Is that the sound?
I've been in there.
I've been in there. I could say, do you want to smoke a joint? I've been smoking a little bit less pot.
Yeah?
That's
How's
good.
that working out?
Good.
Good. Not Tweet Bahara says, Jackie Mason lives just down the street from us. I think he's a cannibal. He was giving out human body parts to kids on Halloween. Here's a finger for you, and a finger for you, and a finger for you.
I think Not Tweet Bahara.
And here's a companion piece.
Okay.
My pillow guy lives just down the street from us. With each piece of candy he gave out for Halloween, he gave away a second one at no extra charge. A finger for you.
A finger for you. I think not, and of course this is Not Tweet Bahara, right? That's not a good way to hide your. It just shows you that the people.
Yes, it's Not Tweet Bahara.
Yes, it's Not Tweet Bahara. He's funny, and I find that a lot of our listeners are funny and have excellent taste in
Lovely
podcasts.
people, lovely,
and they have
people.
excellent taste in podcasts.
Yes, they do. They
Also,
like the ones without guests. That's what I like about.
Well,
them.
Dave Foley said he does not like true crime.
That's true. He
does
did
not
say
like
that.
true crime.
I was with Dave Foley on that.
Yeah.
Iram says more frontline voice. Thank you, Iram.
I want.
Our frontline cameras were allowed into the home of Mr. Joshua Weinstein of Sherman Oaks, California. Here's what our cameras witnessed tonight on Frontline.
That's good. I have to now listen to the original voice to give you more props.
Andy Kindler allowed frontline cameras into his brain for an evening. It was a dark and stormy place. We'll see it here tonight on Frontline.
Who's Frontline brought to you by?
It's PBS.
And
A grant from the and viewers like you
Archer Daniel Midland Corporation
on Frontline.
Front. Good. See, that's the type of thing.
Thank you, Aaron. We're going to get that. We're going to get that.
Well, I like a
up to
request
speed.
that's new too.
Yes.
I like someone saying they like a new voice that you're doing.
Seizure Romero
Seizure Romero, excellent.
says Bob and Ray, great comedy duo or greatest comedy duo ever.
They were great. We talked about that last
We
night.
did, yeah, I know.
They were excellent. Although, again, I'm not that familiar with them.
I wish I'd. I mean, I've heard a liberal sampling of Bob and Ray, but I haven't ever done a real deep dive on their stuff.
Right.
But I love the tone of it.
Yes.
I just love the smart and the low key yet fully committed tone to it. I really like.
In that way, they may have been the best of the
I don't know
duos.
if they're the best duo ever, but I think.
Well, Nichols and May were great too, but they didn't last long. Or
Yeah.
they didn't do tons of years.
But you know, Nichols and May's best stuff is as good as Bob and Ray's best stuff. I bet.
True.
You know, and then there's the whole. Then you get into all the movie comedians too, but
And the Smothers Brothers,
the
which
Smothers
I love.
Brothers,
as a
Laurel
kid.
and Hardy, Abbott Costello.
Yes. And at the end of the year, we're going to have our end of the year vote on who
Burns
do you think
and Allen and Rossi.
Alan Rossi. I would not.
They're out. They're out of the
I would
first
not put them in with Bob and Ray.
Stiller and Mira.
Hello there.
I don't know.
Oh, Stiller and Mira, both
Funny, love them
hilarious,
both,
but not necessarily as a duo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But she's an excellent actor too. She was in stuff,
Yes.
and he is also an excellent actor. Wait, what am I doing? You ready? Let's go.
Now do the Bay City Rollers.
SATUR. SATURDAY. Night. Thank you. That's what I wanted. You wouldn't be a person who would do Porky Pig or like in conversation, right?
Not in conversation. No.
But you do. You still
I
do.
don't do Porky Pig, actually, no. I do Meltillis, but I don't do.
What's a Porky Pig? What's the one where you go? You make that sound with your face. What's up, Doc?
I don't know.
I don't know who that is.
No.
Okay. SATU. Ladies and gentlemen, I so much want him, Josh, to teach a. It's so good. You could teach like a Michael Winslow like workshop.
I could.
Who would go to that?
No one.
Well, what'd you learn? Oh, I went to a workshop and I can't do it. Okay, I'll do it on my own time.
Michael Lapsley says, "Hi, I complimented you guys on your film success last week and you didn't read it on the show. Was I too late? Do you hate me? You hate me, don't you? Hate me like poison."
This is an impression of me,
It's a good
right?
start. It's a good start.
I think he's doing an impression of me. That would be my insecurities.
Yeah.
No, we probably didn't see it.
Well, there's two things that can happen. Sometimes I don't see them. Well, there's three things. Sometimes I don't see them. Sometimes they're too late. And sometimes I edit them out for either time or efficacy.
I don't think that's the right word, but what does that word mean, efficacy?
Effectiveness.
Ooh. Well, thank you. I'll thank you now, even. And we're not, and we appreciate it. And we don't hate you.
Joe Andrus. Any good road gig stories, funny or otherwise? No, weirdly enough, after 35 years.
Any good road story? Well, any good road?
Too broad. Too broad.
It's too broad.
Narrow it down, Joe. Come back next week with something a little more
Because it
specific.
requires, you have to do like, I have $1 million, the condo. I'm going, in fact, to a condo this week.
Yeah, we talked about that.
So I have $1 million of those stories.
Is that part of your anxiety cycle?
Oh, sure.
Because of the cleanliness factor?
Even at a hotel, sometimes I will be afraid.
Right.
But of course, you should be afraid at a hotel because you're like, for example, I would not stay at a Best Western if I didn't have to stay at one.
Yeah.
But then you could hit a Best Western that was good.
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
But Hampton Inn, they make a nice room. La Quinta. How do you think about a place like La Quinta?
What do you do? What's your policy on glasses in hotel rooms? Drinking glasses.
I wish they were glass. I like them when they're glass, right?
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I prefer
I prefer the wrapped
because it's all.
Because you never know, you don't know if they hand just.
Oh, they do. You don't know if they hand. I see them all the time. They got a brag and they're
That's what I mean.
polishing it out.
Right. Do you want a glass that's been polished by a rag?
No, you're right. I prefer the wrap. I prefer the wrapped cup,
right.
But I still feel depressed when I open it.
No, it's depressing. I get you. But I don't use the, especially the ones in the bathroom.
Yes, you're like Susan this way, and it also makes sense.
Yeah.
The germs. Andy Richter once showed one of these things where they make the Kleenex into like they take the Kleenex in there and they blossom it all out like a flower,
right.
and he put it. This looks unsanitary, and it is. I do not take any of the tissues that the person's played with.
Right.
But we're fighting a losing thing because the thing is that there are
not that germophobic, but that one is like, okay, first of all, if the hotel has to have some sort of restaurant.
Yes.
Because that's the only way they're going to be washing glasses other than by hand in your room.
Yeah, with the one thing that they're also, who else knows what they're using it for?
Exactly.
If I was a clean rooms, I would cut corners.
Oh God, yes. Why the hell not? You don't want to bring a black light in there after I was there.
Is that Dennis Miller staying at the...
It's Dennis Miller doing a local news report, apparently. Yeah. We brought a black light in there, and the level of spunk...
Well, if you did bring a black light, you'd hate it,
Van Leeuwenhoek would not want to...
You wouldn't want it. It would be depressing, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
Have you ever seen one? I think Howie Mandel has one of those or something.
A black light?
Probably. Well, it wouldn't help him. If you went to any hotel, you'd see it anywhere, right? Isn't that the idea behind it?
No, I don't think so. I think there's some...
What does a black light show again?
A black light shows...
Sperm?
Yeah, among other fluids.
I'm looking for one that just shows where the sperm has been.
All your spatters. All your various human spatters. Perush says, long time, first time. What's Andy Kindler's favorite coffee bean?
My favorite coffee bean. Oh, that is really tough because I try different ones all the time. I do love a Wrecking Ball, which is from...
That's a weed strain, Andy.
Oh, sorry. Wrecking Ball up in San Francisco is good. I like a 4-barrel in San Francisco. Makes amazing coffee.
Beans. Bean is what we're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Not coffee beans?
What's your favorite coffee bean?
Well, we're supposed to say Colombia? No, they would brand.
Yes.
Oh, I think they mean brand. Okay, then I'll go with the Colombian. There's no... they have different types. They have a bean that's a different type of bean. It's not...
It's more like a pea?
Oh, the pea berry one. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I've had pea berry.
Oh, is that your favorite?
They're just small beans.
Okay. Well, I nailed that one.
Yeah, thanks, Perush.
I think he wants to know what brand. Maybe not. You're right.
I don't care.
There's no... Okay, let me answer it this way. There is no favorite bean because you can have a Kenyan bean, you can have a Colombian bean, you can have a bean from anywhere that grows coffee well, and it all depends on how the coffee is grown and how it's then roasted.
Right.
I hate you. I hate that look in your eyes. Because no, I hate it because what you're saying is that it isn't as interesting as it is in my head. It's true.
I just like how I've been able to refine my looks down to such specific emotions.
I know, it's good. Well, no, because you almost you were on your way to the glassy-eyed look.
Almost, but I didn't get to snore.
Can you do glassy-eyed?
Yeah.
Let me see. That's a flipped eye. Can you do stoner guy? Folks, I wish you were here. This should be a bonus.
Chris Wood says, Josh, since Andy is now an award-nominated actor, how long do you think it will take him to Sunset Boulevard? P.S. Congratulations to you both on the premiere of the movie.
I prefer to think I am Sunset. That is my career, is Sunset Boulevard. That is my life. Where's the covers, Mr. DeMille?
Movies didn't get small. I'm small. Wait.
I think I'd have to have more success to do the Sunset Boulevard thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably.
I have to be like a big star and then have to go the other way.
Yeah. You got to get above condo level.
It's true. Don't you revealed I live in a condo.
No, I didn't mean living. I mean staying at them at gigs.
Oh, I'm already no. I'm going to be. You know,
I would never belittle your living situation, but your gig situation, fair game.
Well, the other side of it is it's a poorly paid gig, so that makes up for the condo.
At least there's a yang to your.
Yeah, I'm getting 2 paydays though, going from one festival to another.
Nice.
Why don't I blow smoke up my own ass? Can you do that?
Yeah. You've proved it time and time again. 80 Morgan. Okay, for the future, try Goldilocks and the Three Bears with Gregory Peck, James Mason, Huell Hauser, and Liza Minnelli.
You can try it.
All right. Somebody's been sleeping in my bed. Somebody's been sleeping in my bed. Somebody's been sleeping in my bed and she's right here. Wait a second. Is she eating my... I love your cotton candy grapes.
That was a good request and a good execution. The guy, I love the cotton candy grapes.
Perush is back to say Liza Minnelli at the health food store. That's why I'm here for the flaxseed and tofu, baby.
Does she like quinoa?
And the quinoa.
I would love to see Liza Minnelli at the health food store.
And finally, this is Perush. Perush, this is your last one for the night. I don't care if there's more. Recently became a big Steely Dan fan, Andy Kindler. List your top 5 Steely Dan albums.
That's terrible.
Isn't there 5 Steely Dan albums?
Total? I don't go, well, I like Asia. I like,
Pretzel Logic?
Pretzel Lodge. I like all the major ones.
Okay.
So I go off of the albums into songs. So I have favorite songs.
Yeah, he doesn't care about that.
That's it for Perush, no matter what he does?
That's it for the night.
Man, Perush went nuts tonight.
3 on a match. You're done. David says, I've just listened to show 130 in which you read my Justin Trudeau tweet, and Andy responded with, I think he's making a joke, which actually is the nicest thing anyone's ever said about a joke of mine. What's the best compliment you all have ever received?
Like about the comedy type of thing?
Whatever.
Why are these hard? They shouldn't be as hard as it is. Why don't you go first?
The one that came to mind was 2 words by Larry Miller when I was a kid, about to move out to L.A., and I was featuring for him. I said, yeah, I'm moving out to L.A. in a month or so. And he said, you're ready. That was it.
You're ready.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I was like beaming for a week.
Have you kept in touch with Larry Miller?
No, I've seen him over the years, but I haven't kept in touch with him.
I think, I'd like to say that I can't think of anything, but I could think of a million things. But I actually, the best the compliments I really have enjoyed have been the ones on people enjoying the podcast. Have meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
And
I still get a little charge, and it happens fairly frequently, from an Emo Phillips like of a joke. Too.
Yes. Yeah. That's good. I'll go with that.
Yeah, and I talk to Emo. We DM each other and stuff, but there's Emo as arbiter of jokes is still there.
He's got a good eye.
Yeah, he's still.
He's got good at everything.
Yeah,
he's great at tweeting.
Yes, and one of the great joke writers of all time.
Here, I say.
Michael Lapsley is back. Will he be whining again? Let's see.
What was he whining about before?
About how we didn't read his compliment tweet. Hello, do you ever wish there was a more Jewish holiday movies or specials? Tyler Perry's A Medea Family Passover. My Big Fat Greek Shavuos. You call this a wonderful life?
I like that.
Maybe something where Tim Allen morphs into Elijah the Prophet to learn a moral lesson.
I will pitch every one of those ideas. But I don't long for Hanukkah specials or Jewish specials or movies about. I wouldn't want to see Charlie Brown about Shavuos.
Right. It's your first Shavuos, Charlie Brown. That coin's made of chocolate, Charlie Brown.
That's a dreidel, Charlie Brown.
Right.
Those are the people who killed our Lord. Oh, I'm sorry.
You're not supposed to eat today, Charlie Brown.
Does Charlie Brown have to be in every one of the
He's
specials?
fast, yes.
I think there's no other any Jewish are there any movies celebrating the Ten Commandments maybe?
Yeah, that's a big one.
But you don't want it. But there's no movies that are made every year.
Didn't Sandler make a animated Hanukkah movie?
Oh, he might have.
I think he did.
8 Crazy Nights or something like that.
Yes.
I didn't see that. I was in the time period where I didn't like him then because he didn't like me.
Now he likes you?
No, I mean, I don't like him that much. Again. His special went in and out of my ear.
Seth Dobson says, you damn neoliberals need to see the light. Paleoliberalism is the future. Equal rights for Neanderthals. A mammoth carcass in every icebox. Oh, yeah, my question. Who's your favorite caveman character from TV, film, music, literature, etc.?
Wow, that's a tough one.
Phil Hartman's Caveman Lawyer.
That's pretty good.
Or Captain Caveman.
Who's that?
Captain Caveman.
I don't know who that is.
Saturday morning cartoon. From my lifetime.
From your lifetime. Well, I always thought the Flintstones were in caves. But no,
but I would give you that. I would give you a Flintstone if that's what your answer is.
It's not, though. I have no favorite. I didn't like the Caveman sitcom that came out.
No, you don't like sitcoms based on Geico commercials?
No, I didn't like that. But I never think of, maybe Rob Becker's Defending the Caveman.
Yeah, I'm sure that's your fave.
That's my favorite look at that time period because he really gets into it.
M. Ludsum says, getting to ask you guys something in real time thanks to waking up at 2 a.m. Apart from your MyPillow, how do you guys get back to sleep if you have trouble sleeping? Endless real crime? Coffee? A third thing? Thanks as ever. Love you guys.
I won't do the coffee. I sometimes, if I can't get back to sleep, I'll smoke some pot, which helps me.
Yeah.
And I'll read a little bit of the read will help me. But I've been having a lot of trouble with getting back to sleep and sleeping. And
yeah. I've had trouble this week. I woke up, Clyde woke me up at about 4 a.m. the other morning. And I went back to bed and suddenly became like the crossroads of the anxiety universe.
Wow, you just worrying dreams?
My brain just it wasn't even dreams. I couldn't get back to sleep. It was just like, my brain was like punishing me with a to-do list of things to get tense about.
And why did Clyde wake you up?
He had to poop.
So he's not going to wait.
No, he was right.
He was right.
We appreciate it when he does that. I mean, I prefer he doesn't in the middle of the night, but
does Allison wake up too, or she sleeps through it?
She sleeps through it more.
Does she sleep?
Or pretends to.
It's a tough one, how to go back to sleep. It is a tough one. I mean, there's all the standard ones. I
listen to, I will sometimes turn on the podcast or NPR. Those are my two bedtime listens.
Oh, yeah. Cool. What do you listen to on NPR?
Just news, BBC News or whatever. It's whatever's on in the middle of the night. And some indica, a couple of hits of an indica pipe I will do sometimes.
Which really does help me.
And sometimes I will just get up. If I listen to a podcast and I get through the whole thing, I will tend to just, all right, I'm going to get up for an hour and try to get to feeling sleepy again.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if I lie there, it just becomes a prison situation for me.
Yeah, because counting sheep doesn't work. But like with Susan and I, our big problem is that we go to sleep too late.
Yeah.
But we're trying
to wee hours of the morning. You guys.
Well, we normally go to sleep at 4.
Yeah.
That's the wee hours.
That's wee hours.
So, but I can, and also with me, it was the CPAC. I do encourage people who have not had a sleep test. I think it's a good thing to have. If you are having chronic problems with going back to sleep, it could be sleep apnea. But I didn't know I had it, so that may not be the case that you don't
Our cameras were allowed into Andy Kindler's sinus cavity. It turns out he's having trouble expelling air at night.
Why are you making that sound?
We'll be watching him try to sleep tonight on Frontline.
The only time I recognize it, because I don't really listen to the voiceover that much, is when you say on Frontline.
That's why I have to throw it in. Kenny Loggins III says, I just wanted to let you both know that I would never even dare call you two boomers. I respect you too much.
I think that is a cool thing. I'm telling you, this whole thing with...
Let me just say for the record, not a boomer.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's 64, the cutoff?
I don't know, but I think it is.
What year were you born?
71.
Oh, every time I hear it.
I'm straight up Gen X.
I'm 15 years older than you. No, but I can't stand this whole thing. This is what makes me not like some people on the left.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why he's a boomer. He doesn't really. That's why he doesn't want Medicare for all, because I'm a boomer.
All right.
Medicare for all. It's a stupid. I just want to say one more thing. I'll never say it again. The idea that the Democratic Party through Bernie Sanders introduced Medicare for all, and I know it's because Bernie wants to bother everybody else and make everybody, because he's fine with saying taxes are going to go up. It's I think it's the stupidest political move ever. There's absolutely no reason why you're going to argue about what your plan would be when you're not even in office yet. We all agree as Democrats that we want this done. So why are we killing each other over how it's done before we've even gone up against the general? And I'm done.
Food for thought. I don't want to go down the political road because I was listening. We went down there last week.
We did,
and I find myself hating myself.
Did you take it all out?
I didn't take it all out,
right?
No, but I just find myself going. When forced to speak about it in this podcast situation like this, I find myself bloviating my way into things that even I am not firmly behind. That happened earlier with the David Crosby stuff. I'm not exactly sure how much of that I believe.
Yeah, but you were just but that's a thing where we agree to talk about a thing.
Yes. Andrew Sweet snarkily says, "When will you get around to talking about Andy's OCD?"
Wow. That cuts one way.
Discount Dracula says,
wait, that's the whole question?
That's it, yes.
Who's the name of the person there? I got it right.
Andrew Sweet.
Andrew Sweet. I know Andrew Sweet.
Yeah, well, he's taking a shot at you.
It is expected.
I think you should wash your hands to Andrew Sweet's question about OCD. Okay, good. I was waiting for you to tell me. I don't have the hand washing.
I know we've already established that a million times.
Usually you have to say it. It was good.
Well, do I also say I'm not germphobic, but I'm German-phobic? Those people still bother me?
No, you should say that more and more. Discount Dracula says, I heard a rumor James Mason was the new voiceover spokesperson for BDO. Any truth to this? Thanks. No, it's BDO. I don't know the...
okay, well, here's the thing.
I don't know the hook to the BDOs.
Do you know the commercial itself?
I do, but I can't conjure it right this
the commercial itself is that we're doing all these things, and we should bring in somebody to help us. We are. We're bringing BDO. People who know BDO.
All right, that's like... You can't give away a whole vineyard to the thing. Well, that's why we put it into trust. We should talk to BDO. I did talk to BDO.
Yes.
People who know BDO. Yeah, that was good. A lot of big payoff there.
I like the interplay between us before you did.
That was good.
That was good.
That was good. Hopefully I recorded that. Tommy Barcanero. Andy, how long have you known Jeopardy champion Ken Jennings? I saw you chatting with him after your show in Seattle. Speaking of which, thanks for a hilarious show. My wife and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I know him through, I believe, George Meyer, who was a friend of mine, who wrote for The Simpsons, and Maria Semple. I think I met them through George Meyer, and I love hanging with him. I'm a big fan of him. I think he's.
Did you see George Meyer in Seattle when you were there?
No, I didn't see. I saw him the last time. I didn't see him this time because Ken had reached out, and I figured. That's all I had really time for.
Both Ken and George came to a Cinematic Titanic show when we were up there as well.
Oh, cool. They're great people, and Ken is hilarious. And I kind of bug him by telling him how funny he is all the time.
I hope he will be the new host of Jeopardy once Alex Trebek is fully done.
What do you mean fully done?
Much time
What do you mean,
as he
like
could possibly
retired or? Oh, you're saying we don't wish.
I'm not.
He's got a tough thing.
He's got a bad thing going. Mark Thompson says a staple of my childhood was the Ed Sullivan Show. You're not dating yourself. Sorry, old timer. Do you think there's any chance a network or cable variety show could be successful today? It is. The America's Got Talent is exactly a variety show.
Yeah, but he's saying I think he's saying he liked Ed Sullivan.
Yes. And then he said, do you think there's any chance a network or cable variety show could be successful today?
But those aren't successful shows like Ed Sullivan was. That's what I got from it. Like, will there be
America's Got Talent is a hugely successful show. It's been on for 10 years.
But it only comes on in the summer and stuff like that.
No, it's on all year round.
All right. Okay. Josh Shore answered your question. America's Got you know.
How can you say that's not a successful show?
It's only because
it didn't say could be as successful as Ed Sullivan. He said could it be successful today?
Here's what I think.
They had enough money to hire fucking Howard Stern as a judge for 3 years.
Well, here's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I went past the question, and he may not even be asking this question. Could that be a thing that we all gather around the TV for again?
Well, no, nothing can, though.
Nothing has so far. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But America's Got Talent is nothing like Ed Sullivan to me. Ed Sullivan was
Of course it's not. That's not the question.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just love how serious you got about this question suddenly.
Well, it brings up a lot of stuff for me. Yes. In general, though, those kind of shows are not as popular as they used to be. In general, there were a million shows.
No, Andy, I absolutely disagree.
Because everybody they had the Flip Wilson show, they had the Sonny and Cher show.
Right.
There will never be those shows. I don't think are coming back.
No, they're not
because they're dead.
Right.
All right.
But he was talking. Yeah.
Don't bring it up again. Very sensitive about it. I'm with you.
Wow, that was just weird. Thanks, Mark Thompson.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Mark. You drove us apart.
Tune in next week for Nerve Finders.
I don't think Ed Sullivan, though, is that great a show when you think about it, probably. You wouldn't watch it if it came back.
No, because it could never be that popular today, apparently.
Oh, God. You said that popular again, so that you betrayed your original thing.
No, I read the question.
Oh, my God. You're like a lawyer. Without the money.
Huh?
No, you don't cry. You didn't want to be a lawyer.
Toi says, my Aunt Julia saw James Mason at a roadhouse, and he was dazzling his fellow patrons with his sort of spoken word version of American Pie. Or was it Year of the Cat? Could have been both.
What's a roadhouse?
A roadhouse is a
bar?
A bar, yes.
Okay.
A raucous bar.
Like the movie Roadhouse?
That would be an example.
Yes.
Yes. On a morning from a Bogart movie, in a country where they turn back time, you go strolling through the crowd like Peter Lorre, contemplating a crime. She comes out of the sun like a silk dress running like a watercolor in the rain. Don't bother asking for explanations. She'll just tell you that she came. In the Year of the Cat.
That was amazing. I didn't know anybody could remember the exact words to Year of the Cat. It's the Year of the Cat.
In the Year of the Cat.
Does that song hold up?
Sure. You go strolling through the crowd like Peter Lorre contemplating a crime. She comes out of the sun in a silk dress running like a watercolor in the rain. All right,
I like it. Now you made me like it more.
There you go.
I loved it when it came out.
Michelle Weiscarver, did either of you know Greg Giraldo? You knew Greg Giraldo, right?
I did know Greg Giraldo.
I loved his work, and I'm now reading a biography of him, which is quite good. It's not every day an Ivy League educated lawyer becomes a good comedian. Parenthetically, hope Lucky is still okay, Josh. I hate when critters are ill. Lucky is just fine. Yeah, she just had I probably shouldn't bring up those things because it worries more people.
No, it's okay.
They have to wait a whole week to find out.
What was the question though? First?
Greg Giraldo.
Oh yeah, I got to meet him and be friends with him, and it was he's a truly amazing person. I think he's a brilliant guy and hilarious person. Very smart.
Very smart.
Yeah. I miss him.
Kerry Whedon says, why is it that in Christmas movies, Christmas always needs to be saved? Is it really so under threat? Can you guys come up with a different plot line and reinvigorate the Christmas movie?
That's a good point, though. How about Christmas is postponed because of global warming? Would that be bad?
You got to save it again.
Oh, save it. You know what, though? I watch a lot of Bill O'Reilly, and he says it's under threat. So, he says that the whole thing is under threat. You can't say Merry Christmas anymore to rabbis with a sneer on your face. Merry Christmas, Jew.
What if you played a Jew dentist who schedules appointments on Christmas Day?
Yeah.
And then all the Christians surround your office and protest until you shut it down. And then eventually they burn down your place.
Right. But how would that be a Saving Christmas movie?
It's not. That's my point. It's attacking a Jew.
Although if that person's a comedian, I think that's a very good premise.
All right.
Or as a regular person.
Kerry Whedon, show yourself.
I think I know that person.
Okay, we'll see.
Right.
Mad City Architect says, is Sean Spicer continuing winning on Dancing with the Stars a grand conspiracy or the greatest humiliation of all?
I didn't know is he on there currently?
Yes, he's on there.
And he's winning?
Yes, because Trump keeps tweeting to tell people to vote for him and stuff.
He can't move.
People think they're owning the libs by keeping Sean Spicer on Dancing with the Stars, which is the funny part to me.
He's a big lummox, right?
Yes.
He can't move.
Yes,
anything.
and even the judges on the show apparently are getting pretty sick of Sean Spicer being kept on the show.
Yeah, because the longer he's kept on, the more you realize he's a casting.
But it's a political statement that people are using by voting for Sean Spicer, which is pretty funny for me.
Boy, these Trumpers they're pretty funny.
They know how to own us lib.
They really do. Well, how does he keep going on? Because the audience is worth more than what the judges?
Because the judges choose the two bottom people, and then the audience votes which one goes away.
Okay, so no one is saying this guy is amazing.
No,
they're just saying
you're bad. You're very, very bad.
But we're going to vote you.
And then the audience votes him back for next week.
Have we missed any amazing Fred Astaire style dancers? Because of this?
I wouldn't know.
I know.
I'm not going to be owned by those right-wing,
Are you talking about
crafty bastards.
Are you talking about the WTS? I love when things are initials.
Peep My Meat Suit says, what fast food item will be released to distract the American people to ignore the tailspin of our country into a Mad Max-style apocalypse?
I don't think it's going to be the McRib, because that's not going to help people.
No. But I have to say that Popeyes really has some chicken management issues for a place that's a chicken place.
It's not good.
No, it's this chicken sandwich is what they're referencing. You haven't been tuned into
Tell me,
Popeye's chicken sandwich mania?
No, get me up with it.
I think you should look it up.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not busy editing.
Okay.
Is there something wrong with the chicken sandwich?
No, they just keep running out because it's that damn good. People line up. They run out. They introduced it for limited time. It was such a hit, they ran out. It caused chicken sandwich riots. Now they brought it back finally as a permanent menu item, and they're still running out because people can't get enough of this chicken sandwich.
Have you had
Andy.
it?
No.
And we're never going to have it.
I might have it later on down the line
when
people
there's more.
Get a sense of perspective about the chicken sandwich.
I've never had Chick-fil-A because I don't like that company.
It's the FOMO burger.
Have you ever had Chick-fil-A? I never have.
I have.
And are they as good as people say?
Not as good as Popeyes, apparently.
How can anything sandwich be
Even
popular?
Bill Oakley in his fast food reviews said it was better than the Chick-fil-A.
Does he do sandwich reviews?
Yes.
Okay. Is he a Simpsons writer?
Yes.
Okay.
Former partner to Josh Weinstein.
How could I forget this?
Don't know.
Oh, you were writing partners.
No. Former partner to Josh Weinstein and Bill Oakley. Josh Weinstein being the writer who made it so I had to be J. Elvis Weinstein.
Oh, okay. I got you now. Gee, that was confusing.
Ooh, but entertaining for everyone.
No, but it's always entertaining when you're trying to get my dead brain active. You're the cat.
Mad City Architect says, Andy, heard in the last episode your go-to food is sushi, but is the wasabi spicy?
You're damn right it is, and I can't take it as much as I used to take it.
Yeah.
And if there's any wasabi at all on the sushi, I do not add any more wasabi with my what do they call shish kebab sticks? With your
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks, yeah. But it's still my favorite though. Sushi, great sushi is still my favorite. Who cares? Who do I think I'm answering to? It's not like this is a Us magazine and it's in the back top 10 things you don't know about Andy Kindler.
Right.
He likes good sushi.
And we're back. Larry Harold says, Dear movie stars, what's the best comedy set you've seen in person? Wow.
That's a tough one. I mean, people have made me... I've seen Adomian just make me howl and cry. And I still think when I saw Dana Carvey get Saturday Night Live...
Yeah.
That might be the best that I've ever seen for that time.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. So maybe that would be that would go.
Was that at Igby's?
Igby's, yep.
Man, I don't know. Louis Anderson, when he was doing his first big hour, that was pretty... I saw him do that. That was pretty amazing.
So you would say he's a great stand-up, right?
I don't know if I could say that anymore. I could say that his best hour stacks up against almost anybody.
Yeah.
And I was just slagging him last week, but I did think he was pretty great.
I saw Hicks, but
yeah, I mean, I saw Hicks a bunch of times, and there were sets that I don't know. It's
tough.
It's tough. I can't say, but I've been fortunate to see some great people. I've seen some great comics doing great comedy over the years.
I would say one of the people I most enjoy watching live is like Eddie Pepitone.
Yeah.
Because you never know what he's going to do, and he's hilarious always.
Yeah.
So those guys I like to watch, him and Adomian and Todd Glass, guys that are, well, I wouldn't put Adomian in with Todd Glass, but these are guys who, they're so personality-based that when they hit, it's incredible.
Yeah, I put you in that category, too. I mean, I've while I don't marvel at your craft the way I do with some, I've found myself giggling a shit ton throughout watching a set of yours.
Well, thank you, and I think that you are that's a very nice thing to say to me. And I love you.
Thank you.
I honestly love you.
Greg Kelly says James Mason produced and starred in Age of Consent as a painter with a young Helen Mirren as his muse. I wonder how he tried to convince people that it's nothing like Lolita. Well, you see, I have a beard in this one. And I don't mean the woman.
This James Mason thing is gold to me. I think you might be the world's foremost James Mason impressionist.
I think the other ones might be dead by now.
What do you mean? Oh, like...
I mean, I'm sure that Frank Gorshin did a pretty good James Mason.
I don't know. Do you have a certain love for his voice? Or maybe it was the movie we saw him in.
I have more of a love for the love that people show for it.
I'll never forget that movie.
It's not like I was trying to make a meal of James Mason before this all started.
No, it just took off on its own. I think that might be my favorite movie we've seen just for that. Bobby.
Yes. We're shutting down the program. Mingla, you will not shut down the program. We're shutting it down. I will not have this program shut down by an insolent Jew. Mingla, come to your senses. I'm getting out of here. Where's my... Bobby!
Bobby.
Yoshi Yamamoto. Yoshi Yamamoto. It's the second year anniversary of Mr. Weinstein. Even without the segments, Test Show 26 could have taken place yesterday. Andy's bestiality jokes, impeachment talk, lamenting the Astros in the World Series, Josh hiding from Halloweeners, and Andy's still unfinished album.
Oh!
with the knife at the end. Oh, right in there.
Oh, God, this was the exact day I needed to hear that. Mr. Weinstein. Mr. Weinstein.
Mr. Kindler. Notice how my character here is nothing like James Mason.
Mr. Weinstein.
Yes, Mr.
I would like to talk to you. Please come into the office.
I'm coming. Wait a minute. Wait for it. I'm coming. I'm here.
Mr. Weinstein, it's come to my attention that you are coming to attention too much in the office. This is not acceptable.
I shall pay attention to that.
Well, please see that you do, or I will dock you 1 farthing, but not a farthing more. You know what, Mr. Weinstein? You go put more coal in that heater right now before you dot 1 more. Am I lost?
You're
your voice?
thinking of Cratchit.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Yes, I'll call him.
Okay, but Mr. Weinstein, please.
I have a perfectly able-bodied child. I don't need it as much.
Mr. Weinstein, I am enraged. Well, we're back.
All right. Claytor says, hello and thanks to both of you and any other animals in the room. Question 6. I need to be a comic for medical reasons. Do you know any philanthropists that will bankroll me? It will be worth it. Comment 23. Thanks for not macing me in the TO, Andy. I don't understand much of that.
In the timeout? Who is this gentleman?
Claytor.
Claytor.
Darth Claytor.
He sounds like he's doing a stream of consciousness thing.
He's doing a little something.
I like it.
He's got some sort of bit going.
I have to figure out where I TO'd him during the thing.
Samuel Lechnier. I want to thank Josh and Liza for turning me on to my new favorite snack. They're cotton candy grapes! And he included a picture of
the grapes?
Of the grapes.
Or Liza Minnelli eating the grapes?
No, that's for your imagination.
You fill in the thing.
That's it. That's all our questions.
Well, it was quite a show, Josh.
I really think we it's like a phoenix, this show.
It's unbelievable. You know what I say? Just dare us to tape a new show.
Who would want a semi-comedy legend interview?
Yes, when you can
have two semi-humans.
Two semi-humans doing their struggling with their Mr. Weinstein chunk.
Exactly.
Well, we made it, though.
We made it.
And I want to thank you for not having us do it last night, which I think would have been my impulse, which would have been crazy.
Yeah, I sent you home. I just knew that.
No way.
I wasn't going to recover emotionally from the loss.
And that's where...
And you weren't going to recover from me not recovering.
and the thing is, that's where being neighbors really does help.
It does help a lot.
Because if I was in the South Bay...
Yeah, different gig.
Well, what do we have going on? Anything going on?
Well, if you'd like to buy my album, buy it. It's called Chunks. You heard some of it earlier. If you'd like to see Andy, check his website, andykindler.com.
Well, I will be at Union Hall.
He will be at Union Hall right after Thanksgiving.
Right after Thanksgiving, and I'm going to be at Good Company in Philadelphia the night after that. So that's something I can.
There you go. Queens and Philly.
Also, do we have to thank anybody else or not? Nobody to thank for the cup of coffee.
Oh, let's take a look. I'm sorry.
And by the way, the fact that we don't promote the wanting a cup of coffee doesn't mean that we're not desperate for your cash.
And
it's not
what Andy's trying to say is, if you'd like to support our show, please go to buymeacoffee.com/thoughtspiral.
That's what the way you said it sounded better.
You can do a one-time coffee buy. You can buy us a monthly cup of coffee. Looks like Matthew Mitchell is a special monthly subscriber because he subscribed. Somehow it got canceled. And he noticed that he didn't get charged for the second month and actually inquired to make sure. So that kind of attention.
That deserves a shout out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you to all our we did get several one-time donations this week.
Thank you.
We got plenty of people getting their monthlies. So thank you to everyone for your support. It doesn't go unnoticed.
So we still don't have a close. We don't have to have a closing.
Do we need a close when we open with "What's the show you're missing in this week's show"? You know,
It would
when
be
you break every rule of show business and entertainment at the beginning, does what you do at the end really fucking matter?
That's a very, very good point. In fact, the more awkward that we made it,
you know, you can just do the classic record scratch.